I'm from overseas, so I'm from New Zealand where everything seems particularly easy, and so here there seems to be a lot of rules and regulations. That seems like a real challenge. You've been involved in companies like Uber and Booking, which have sizable issues with regulations in general. It seems like starting a company here, you have to fight against, all these different data protection rules. Uber, for example, is crazy because you've got the taxis, and Booking, you've got the whole hotel industry. How do you tackle that? There's so many issues and regulations that it seems like, oh, I don't want to start this business. It's too hard. How do you view approaching regulation? Do you follow the letter of the law, or do you work with it to find a gray area?
I think if you want to build something big, it's more about, can you find an audience, can you find the consumers that want something? And if consumers want something and you can provide that service and you can give them what they want, you know that you're onto something very big. But if you are onto something big, normally that's because people had a pain that things were not working well. In case of Booking, you had to take a day off to go to the travel agency to book your hotel, and when you arrived there, it was very different from what you wanted. So you want to see it before. So it was a pain from a consumer that they wanted to do. The same with Uber. If you go into a taxi, you have the risk. Most taxis are fine, but you have the risk that you enter into a taxi where you don't like the service at all. So Uber addressed all the pain points and went back to the bottom to address these pains and to rebuild a product that serves all your pains. But if you are onto something that's really disruptive, that means that you're doing something that did not exist before. And for me, it's quite simple. If it did not exist before, it's not regulated. There are no laws. So by default, it means you are maybe not within the law. You're not even violating the law, but for what you are going to do, there is no law.
Right.
But if you are going to look at that law and say, oh, I can't do it, I think that's a pity for you, because then your company won't be big. So if you're onto something disruptive, it's going to be big, and the consumer wants it, most likely you enter into problems with some laws.
Right.
But that's not something to stop you.
Yeah.